Rich Hoffman, how is your grass?
Oh, it's great. It was just freshly cut. It looks wonderful, except for the flooded patches that are all over right now. Looked good yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get about 2 inches. The forecast was for about 2 inches of rain this weekend. So if you think your grass needs water, probably doesn't.
I'm getting the canoe out right now.
All right. Well, Rich, give us an update here on your tax-killing efforts in Lakota, and also you're helping out in Lebanon, right?
Yeah, I've got involved a little bit in Lebanon because they were interested in what we did in Lakota to bring about fiscal responsibility, which appears to be working. It looks like in Lakota, a lot of the school board is starting to think outside the box, which is wonderful. They announced the school board meeting that they're voiding the second year of their contract that they negotiated last year, which will give them a little leverage to be able to hopefully negotiate some of their wages, which are extremely top-heavy. Mm-hmm. They had 191 people, employees, that moved into the above $65,000 a year range, supposedly on a pay freeze, because the step increases took them over that range threshold, which cost them an extra $15 million a year. So all these cuts they're talking about doing are really kind of silly when you're dealing with those kinds of numbers.
Well, Rich, I have a message to school teachers, and I have a message to union members when it comes to public education. You want to hear it?
Yes.
You ever hear of a guy named Terry Moe?
No.
Terry Moe is an expert when it comes to education reform. In fact, he's written a couple of books on it. He is a professor of political science, Stanford University, also a fellow at the Hoover Institution. His latest book is called Special Interest, Teachers, Unions, and America's Public Schools. And you know what his message is?
Let me guess. Well, tell me.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Because there's going to be less teachers moving forward, and the reason is not because of the lack of financing or dollars or tax dollars going toward public education. The reason is simply one word: technology.
Right.
In fact, he writes, in the final analysis, what computers require is a substitution. What technology requires, I should say, is a substitution of technology for human labor. Computers will do a lot of what teachers do now.
Right.
Jumping forward, he says technology is cheap. Labor is really expensive. Education has always been very labor-intensive. So if our education system can substitute technology for labor and still provide kids with a high-quality education, he concludes, that's great.
Right. Hey, Rosetta Stone software is really the first big step in that direction. That stuff is amazing. And if you do that for math, and you do that for English and reading, the various ways to obtain literature, mm-hmm. That's where it's all going. Those basics can be done on the PC now. And when Delaware County has that union rally today, I was reading a press release, and SEIU's in on it, and Barack Obama's Organizing for America's in on it. These are outside influences that are coming to our community and trying to keep the same old going.
Yeah, this is the rally to repeal Senate Bill 5.
Yeah.
It's happening today.
And that reminds me of what you talked about last week when you're talking about bad behavior and Mark North of Lebanon, how he has a $600 car allowance. I mean, what's he need that for?
Well, what kind of car is he driving for $600?
It's supposedly a very large pickup truck of some kind of, a brand new Ford.
Oh Christ! He can get himself a Mercedes for $600 a month on a lease.
Exactly, on top of a $141,000 a year salary. I mean, come on. I mean, what are we rewarding him for that? And then to see the way he behaved at the school board meeting towards the residents who are just trying to get some basic information, and then to squeeze through a contract, with this whole SB 5 thing, to squeeze it through in the last minute against the taxpayers. That's just the kind of stuff that the technology will have to make those people obsolete.
Well, Rich, last night I was watching the NBC Nightly News. They had a piece on talking about a group of volunteers that was happening in Chicago. A group of volunteers that are helping out kids and increasing their reading level. And these are just people that have come together to help out children that may be in need or educational need. And leading into the story, Brian Williams said, and he was talking about certain facts, And do you realize that 22% of adults in America are illiterate? 22%.
You don't want to think that, but I can believe it. I can believe it by how easily some of them listen to the key points, especially that come with watching President Obama's speech.
No, it's not. That's about. I mean, my point is, look at the money that's being dumped into education,
exactly.
and almost 1 in 4 people walking the streets can't read.
Are technically illiterate. Yes, that's terrible.
Incredible.
I mean, they can read a McDonald's sign, they can read Burger King, and they can read basics on a menu, but they can't read too much about deciphering what's in a newspaper and understanding it.
All right, Rich. Well, thanks for the update, and I hope you have a good weekend. You keep dry, okay?
All right, I'll see you.
All right, Rich Hoffman, the tax killer in our community. Time for the Frisch's Big Boy Big Play of the Day. We're looking for caller number 7 at 513-749-3700. Reds losers last night to the Pirates. Caller number 7, good luck from the home of the Cincinnati 700 WLW congratulates Kevin Lucas of Asheville, Kentucky. Kevin, today's Frisch's Big Boy Big Play of the Day winner. He wins a Frisch's gift pack, couple of tickets to a future Reds game, and also is registered for a grand prize trip for 2 to spring training 2012. And that includes coach airfare, also 2 nights hotel, tickets to a spring training game, and a compact car rental, all from Frisch's and the big one, 700 WLW. Oh, by the way, only 1 entry per person this season, only 1 prize per household for the 2011 season. We got new rules. Pirates winners over the Reds last night, 6-1 at Great American Ballpark. Same 2 tonight's. And let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's this afternoon. It's a 1:10 start today at Great American Ballpark. Our coverage starts 12:06 with the inside pitch. Mike Leake on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. And now you are up to date on sports. Nick, good morning.
Hello, Darryl. We've had this conversation before. It is not my fault that my home's value is underwater. It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not my fault.
Not yours totally. It's yours and your lover Thad's.
When in the history of our country has real estate prices plummeted? When?
Where is it written that real estate prices are supposed to increase every year?
Well, I'm just saying,
or values.
It's not my fault that we pulled equity out of our home, and now our
but if I remember correctly, you were irresponsible with the money you pulled out of your home and equity. Well, if I remember correctly, you pulled money out of your home to do numerous things. One of those was taking a trip, a cruise.
That's correct.
A vacation.
The money was there, Darryl. That was our money.
No, it wasn't.
Was there. We had
no,
the money
it wasn't.
In the equity. That money was there.
And you have to pay it back. It wasn't free money. You have to pay the bank back.
Well, I'm just saying, we need to do something. There's many people, millions of people in this country today that are underwater. And the government needs to step in and support these people.
There's like 20 million homes in America that are empty, that are vacant. People walked away from them.
We need to do something about that, Darryl.
And what should we do?
Well, I'm just saying that maybe.
You want me to pay your mortgage?
I'm saying that.
That's what you want, right? You want me to pay your mortgage.
I have never asked for a handout ever before.
But yes, you are.
Yes, you are. To come in.
We are the government.
I want the government to back the values. When we went and we had our home appraised, I want the government to back the value that they said that it was worth.
What do you mean by that? So let's say your house is worth a couple $100,000, or it was worth a couple $100,000 before the economy cratered. You want the government to come in and say my house is now worth a couple $100,000?
Yes, I want them to back the value that when the value is there.
What? So you can take out more money and go on another cruise?
No, so that we're not underwater. I'm just saying that we are. You
want me to buy your house?
I'm not saying I don't want you to buy my home.
Well, you know what I'm going to be doing this weekend, Nick? I'm going to be figuring out my taxes. And then on Monday, I'm going to write a check, and I'm going to send it to Columbus, and I'm probably going to end up sending a check to Washington. All right? And that means if this deal, if what you want the government to do, that means I'm going to be paying your mortgage.
If you want to try to reason it like that, then so be it. But you're not paying my mortgage. I'm just
indirectly, I am.
the value when we refinance 3 times, I want them to go back and adjust the price to what.
Nick.
Okay.
Nick.
And another thing, Darryl, and I was on hold, and I was just laughing because your intent is for kids in this country today to be taught by computers,
Why not?
Okay.
Why not? You ever hear of the University of Phoenix?
Hey, Darryl, a computer can teach a kid facts, but it cannot teach a kid how to think. Okay? Do you understand me? It cannot teach.
No, I don't. I don't understand you.
Okay, because it cannot.
See, as a human being, we're all built with the capacity to reason.
It cannot teach a kid how to properly reason, okay? We need people to interact, and we need people to educate our kids. We need people.
What about the online programs at public universities?
Those are a complete failure. It can teach a kid facts.
You mean I could take a course, for instance, at Kent State, all right?
Okay.
Let's take a state school that is out of our area. I could take a public relation. In fact, I can get a master's degree in public relations and in communications at Kent State, and I could do it online.
And the value of that degree is worth less than my degree from the University of Cincinnati. Okay, where I
That's insulting.
Classes.
That's
it's
insulting.
Worth less.
That is insulting. You mean to say you're saying that the University of Cincinnati and Kent State University, the University of Cincinnati graduates better people than Kent State? It's a state school.
I'm saying an online degree is worth less.
No,
the
it's not,
value
Nick.
of an online degree is worth less. And I think most people would agree.
Hey, Nick, do you have a smartphone?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Darryl?
I guess you lose. It's 7 in front of 10 on the big one, 700 WL. Friend me on Facebook. Look up Darryl Parks, DARRYLPARKS. Got a conversation going on the I told you so of past December, where the taxpayers of Hamilton County were going to get screwed on the stadium deal. And now it turns out the stadium deal where the owners of the Reds and the Bengals were going to kick in $10 million, that's dead. And what happened to our property taxes? They went up. Rob writes on my page here, he says, I think to make a statement, all taxpayers on July 4th should take over the stadiums and have the world's largest 4th of July party. Not sure if they'd let us in, sadly. Sad but true. Sharon and Mason, 700 WLW.
Hey, how you doing, Darryl?
All right, Sharon, what's up?
Hey, I guess I'm the assistant tax killer here in the region, but
the vice tax killer.
Yeah, I'm the vice tax killer. Hey, listen, I want to let you know, Monday night we had a Tea Party meeting in Warren County, and we had 2 of the people that were opposed to the school levies talk, and a couple of the people were there for pro-levy. But the little lady in Little Miami that has fought and won these 7 school levies, her name is Cheryl Geis, and she's a Spitfire. And she was... we were talking about, the different reasons why she felt like, that the levy had to go down. And she said, and this is the greatest quote, she said that she's been accused of, of hating kids. And she said, she said, I'm a grandma. She says, I love kids. I just can't afford to love them anymore. And I thought,
it's a great way. I mean, it puts it all into perspective.
Yeah,
it truly does, Sharon.
Yeah,
Can't afford to do it anymore.
I mean, that was just like, I said, that quote needs to go on their website. They just got a website up. Me and Rich has been working with them also. They got a website up now, educatelittlemimiami.org, if anybody wants to go on it. And but then this one guy, that was for the Little Miami schools, was talking about all the reasons why they needed to vote for it. And the one lady, she said, well, let me ask you a question. She says, how much does your employees pay for their health insurance? And he's, that's a good question. And he's talking about how they raise the deductible and all this stuff. She said, no, I want to know how much do they pay.
You ever answer?
He says, I don't know. And she says, I'll tell you, they pay $0.
All right. Well, Sharon, we got to run here. Have a great weekend.
You too, Darryl.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
It's a minute before 10. Mike Cunnin from Cincy Gas Dealers joins us at 10:06 to talk about the high cost of driving. Stand by. This is the home of the Cincinnati Reds, 700 WLW. Here, let's see here. Let's take a real quick call here about, we were talking about teachers and unions a little bit earlier this morning. Mary is in Orgonia. Mary, how are you? You're on the big one.
Hi, Darryl. How are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Good. I'm on my way down to the Reds game to support my Reds in the rain. But unlike teachers, we are a beaten down profession right now. I just feel like we don't get support from the community. I have been teaching for 34 years in Lakota. I am so proud to be a Lakota teacher. We have been a school of excellence. I can't even keep track how many years we've been a school of excellence. I teach at a junior school. We have been a blue ribbon school. So I'm asking you, Darryl, I've been teaching 34 years. I have a master's plus 30. How much am I worth? What's my salary? What should it be?
What the district can afford.
What the district can afford. So,
and it's obvious the district can't afford to pay you.
Well, when we talk about how schools
see, Mary, here's the problem. That's the big difference between public and private institutions. A private institution is concerned about a budget. A private institution is concerned about spending to a budget. When it comes to a public institution, you're not concerned about it because you keep going back to the taxpayers. And that's the difference, and that is the basis of the disagreement here. You see, how much am I worth? You're worth what the district can afford. Sorry. I sound like a broken record. The problem with school districts, if there's $1 million in the budget, they'll spend $1 more. Reds baseball, as Mary mentioned, Reds baseball on the way at 12:06 with the inside pitch. It's game number 2 of the series between the Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates here on the home of the Cincinnati Reds, 700 WLW.